Hey yo, it's Jay with
Real
Real Ninja
Ninja
Finance
Finance.
back again. And today I wanted to talk about something I've been seeing a lot on YouTube, but it's coming from TikTok. It's like I've been seeing like a lot of montages of, just a bunch of people on TikTok complaining about how expensive everything is and how much rent is and how crazy inflation is and how crazy food is and everything. Look, I get it. I completely understand. And, while public discourse often highlights the challenges, that millennials and Gen Z people face, like student loan debts, high housing costs, competitive job market, it's really important to consider how, the technological and social advancements have given these generations certain advantages over the baby boomers and the Gen X that people are always talking shit about, you know? So to present like a balanced view, I want to explore some of the areas where I think that millennials and Gen Z have it easier than the boomers and the Gen X people did. So, from an economic perspective, first off, we can just look at the technological innovation that millennials and Gen Z have grown up in. Like, we've grown up in a world that's been steeped in rapid technological advancement. And this technological advancement has basically spawned entire industries and job markets that were completely unimaginable in previous generations. And all this did was offer greater job flexibility and diverse career options. Back in the day, it wasn't too many options for a young person to do. If your uncle or your daddy or your cousin or somebody worked at a factory, basically your only lot in life, for the most part, is somebody that you know that worked there putting you on in that same factory. And yeah, you would work there and maybe until you retire. Now you can say, well, at least they had jobs that they can work to until they retire. I mean, yeah, but you got so many more options these days. You don't have to do that. And us millennials and Gen Z people, we've been blessed with global markets. Baby boomers and Gen X did not have this. These younger generations, we got the benefit of a globalized trade. And this gives us access to a broader range of goods and services at competitive prices. And we can also participate in global labor markets way more easily, thanks to remote work and digital nomadism. A good example of this is, I'll never forget, I was selling T-shirts at one point in my life, selling a lot of them, and I was trying to figure out how to buy stuff cheaper from China, not through Alibaba. I was like literally looking for like a plug in China, and I was just searching YouTube trying to figure out anybody talking about this, and I found this one video. This video might have had like 15 views, and it had one comment. In that comment, it was some random comment of somebody said, "Hey, if you need help finding a distributor in China, call me." And he put a phone number. So I text that phone number, and it was an old guy. So he ended up calling me back like probably 5 minutes later. And then he just started asking me a bunch of questions. He was vetting me basically to make sure I wasn't on no BS. And after he basically realized, okay, I was serious, he shot me the China plug. Like, he basically said, download this app called WeChat and hit up this person. So I hit up this person on WeChat, and I told her such and such sent me, and she basically started talking prices. And I kid you not, like, these wholesale prices from China, like, it was literally the plug. Saved me like over $20,000 from the orders that I was buying. It was ridiculous. And I found that off of a YouTube comment. Prior generations could never do this. You could never get connected to somebody in China if you grew up as a baby boomer or a Gen X person. It just was not possible. From the comfort of your home, it wasn't possible. Another example, my guy that edits my videos, MD, shout out. He lives in Bangladesh. Like, I don't got no business knowing nobody in Bangladesh, but I found him on the internet. That's the power of growing up as a millennial and a Gen Z person. Like, we can just do stuff like this. We also got to talk about low interest rates. Although it's a lot of criticism for increasing inequality, low interest rates have also made borrowing cheaper, and they enable investments in education, housing, and entrepreneurship. Like, I know they're going up now, but these rates are still historically lower than they have ever been. And like, yeah, you say, okay, the rates are lower, but the houses cost way more money. That's true, but I hate when people say, "Oh, my granddad or whoever bought this house back in the day for $10,000, $20,000." Okay, you comparing that to today's money, but you're not comparing it to that time's money. $10,000, $20,000 was a lot of money back then to those people who lived back then. That's why a lot of people back then still didn't buy houses, because $10,000 was a lot of money, and the interest rates were like 17, 18%. These days, yeah, the prices might be more expensive, but we just came out of a time where the rates was like 2%. If you didn't take advantage of that, then that's on you. So y'all gotta stop saying the boomers and the Gen X had it so easy because they was just at the right place at the right time. Or you at the right place at the right time too if you would just open your eyes. So the last thing I want to talk about the economic perspective of this is the information availability. The internet has basically democratized information, which allows younger generations to acquire knowledge and skills outside of traditional educational settings, most times for free. YouTube University is a thing. Coursera is a thing. I can go on YouTube right now to the CS50, Harvard CS50, and take a whole ass computer science class from Harvard University for free on YouTube. Like literally, I can learn computer science. I can teach myself Python, how to code by myself with a Harvard professor on YouTube for free. All I gotta do is watch the video over and over and over again till I get it, till I figure it out, till I mastered it. Like, it's that simple. And if that ain't good enough, it's all kind of niggas selling courses, teaching you this, that'll hold your hand through it. Like, it's too easy these days. Like, back in the day, they couldn't fathom having this level of access. Now, from a sociological perspective, there's social progress. Millennials and Gen Zs are the beneficiaries of decades of social activism that have led to more equal rights for damn near for everybody for the most part. Like, I mean, it's so progressive these days. Motherfuckers don't even know if they want to be boys or girls, and it's all acceptable. Like, come on now, what is we really talking about? Everything's inclusive. Like, it's crazy right now. Like, I was in like a Discord for like people that want to join the military. I figured I'd hop in there, and, help people out, answer some questions, because I've been there, done that. And some random dude that was in there, he was about to go to the army or something, and he was talking shit about Marines. So I checked him. I was like, basically said, hey bro, you sound like a clown talking shit about any branch of service when you ain't never done nothing. Bro, I tell you, the entire Discord basically shitted on me, calling me the bad guy. So that's what I mean. Like, people can't even handle being told they're a clown. Like, you would have thought I cussed the little dude out or something. Like, but that's what I mean. It's so soft nowadays compared to back when Gen Xers and Boomers was growing up, even when older millennials was growing up. And we also got networking and social capital. The rise of social media and professional networking platforms has basically given younger generations unprecedented ability to network, access mentors, and build up social capital in ways that were way more challenging and resource intensive for previous generations. And we also got mobility. Millennials and Gen Z are more likely to have grown up in multicultural environments and are generally more accustomed to change and are often more willing to relocate for opportunities. Back then, where you was born was where you died. Like, you ain't really travel that much outside of a vacation. Like, it's just different and it's better. Like, y'all have no idea. I got family in Chicago to this day that still ain't drove a car, still ain't been on a plane, still ain't even left the city. My big cousin, she just left the city on a road trip to Memphis for the first time in her life. She in her 40s, her first time ever leaving Chicago. A lot of boomers and Gen Xers are like this. And then we got mental health awareness. While mental health challenges are prevalent, there's a significantly greater understanding and less stigma attached to mental health now, which gives millennials and Gen Z way more resources to cope with these challenges. Like, I mean, mental health, it just wasn't a thing for boomers, Gen Xers, and older millennials. They handled their stuff with alcohol and beating their wife. Like, that's how they got their stress off. Like, these days, it's way more understood when you say you going through it, when you say you depressed or something. Like, everybody know what you're talking about. And then we got individualism and personal branding. The younger generations have way more platforms to express their individualism and to build personal brands, which can be economically and socially beneficial. Like, for boomers and Gen Xers, they had to fit in with the crowd. Like, it wasn't really no individualism like that. Like, how many boomers and Gen Xers grew up with like pink hair and shit? Like, come on now. It just wasn't a thing. Like, back, I remember growing up, tattoos was stigmatized. Like, motherfuckers couldn't even have tattoos without being outcast. And I'm a younger millennial. Certain piercings were even a sign of you being like a crazy renegade, off the wall type of thing. Now people just do whatever they want and nobody cares. That's a huge difference between younger and older generations. And millennials and Gen Z, we also got community support. We got all these different online communities that offer our generation support that's not even bound by geography or immediate social circles. You can have a whole different group of friends that you talk to online than you even interact with in real life. That's just crazy. And that just means you got way more opportunities for personal and professional growth, as well as emotional support. Like I said, like these Gen Xers and boomers, they didn't have all that. So that's why people got to stop complaining about the boomers and the Gen X's. They only rich because they're in the right place at the right time, and everything's just so expensive now, and blah 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 blah. Look, it's important to not overlook the very real challenges that millennials and Gen Z face, but it's also worth acknowledging the unique advantages offered by technological and social progress. You know, these advantages, in many ways, they offset the difficulties that people are always talking about that millennials and Gen Z face. You know, all these advantages, they offer younger generations tools and opportunities that were less accessible or even non-existent for boomers and Gen Xers. So we really got to stop paying attention to all the problems that millennials and Gen Zers face and just look at all the tools that we have to provide ourselves solutions, because we got way more tools than anybody ever has had before us. And with these tools, we can figure out how to make a way for ourselves. And a lot of them do. I really think that a lot of the younger Gen Zers and Generation Alpha, the ones after Gen Z, they pretty much gonna all be entrepreneurs getting stupid money, because the ones in that demographic that are really hustlers, they gonna recognize that they got all the tools in the world to get money by themselves and never need nobody else. And a lot of them do it. Like you see, like a lot of these young kids that like made stupid money off of, I don't know, flipping shoes or something like that. Like the older they get, they're just gonna keep taking that to the next level and the next level, because they recognize that they got the tools to be great and do whatever they want, literally. And I mean, more people in the millennial and Gen Z range need to start looking at that instead of just complaining about how hard it is. Because yeah, it's hard, but I guarantee you the millennials and the Gen Zers that complain about how hard it is would not have survived as boomers and Gen Xers, because it was way harder for them. I don't care what you say, it was way harder for them. Just life in general was just harder. Like we got it easy. We really do. But that's all I got for y'all. Real Ninja Finance.
Real Ninja I've been the man and they all love me, tired of being broke. Quit living check to check and now I'm trying to feed my folk. Ain't gotta make the cash stretch now. We stacking up the assets now. Ain't gotta make the cash stretch now. We stacking up the assets now.